a poor man lost the only tool he owned. Moments later, he was offered a fortune. Then an even greater fortune. And all he had to do was tell a single lie. This is Simple Tales. Long ago, beside a wide and fast-moving river, there lived a poor woodcutter. Each morning before sunrise, he entered the forest carrying a worn iron axe. All day he chopped fallen trees, gathered firewood, and carried heavy bundles back to town. The work was hard, the pay was small. Yet it was enough to feed his family, and for that he was grateful. One afternoon, after hours of labor beneath the summer sun, the woodcutter paused beside the river to cut a fallen branch hanging over the water. He raised his axe. The blade struck the wood. The branch shifted unexpectedly. The handle slipped from his hands. Before he could catch it, the axe spun through the air and disappeared into the dark river below. Splash! The water swallowed it whole. The woodcutter froze. For a moment, he stared at the rippling surface, hoping the axe might somehow reappear. It did not. His heart sank. That axe was not merely a tool. It was his livelihood. Without it, he could not work. Without work, he could not earn money. Without money, he could not feed those who depended on him. He searched the riverbank. He waded into the shallows. He peered into the water until his eyes ached, but the river kept its secret. At last, he sat upon a stone and buried his face in his hands. "What shall I do?" he whispered. The river flowed on in silence. Then something remarkable happened. The surface of the water became perfectly still. A pale mist drifted upward. Fish gathered beneath the surface as though answering an unseen summons. Soft light began to glow beneath the river, spreading through the water like moonlight. Slowly, a radiant figure emerged from the depths. It was a divine spirit, guardian of the river. His robes shimmered like flowing silver. Droplets hung in the air around him like tiny stars, refusing to fall. When he spoke, his voice sounded like water moving over smooth stone. "Why do you grieve?" The woodcutter immediately bowed and explained his misfortune. He spoke of the lost axe, of his poverty, of his fear that he would no longer be able to provide for his family. The spirit listened patiently. Then he nodded. "Wait here." With that, he disappeared beneath the water. The river became still once more. Moments later, the spirit emerged carrying a magnificent golden axe. Its blade blazed like captured sunlight. Jewels sparkled along its edge. Golden reflections danced across the riverbank. The spirit held it up. "Is this your axe?" The woodcutter stared. Never in his life had he seen anything so valuable. One word would change everything. He thought of winters when food had been scarce. He thought of worn clothing patched again and again because there was no money for new garments. He thought of every hardship his family had endured. No one would know. No one could prove otherwise. The river spirit waited, the golden axe gleamed. At last, the woodcutter shook his head. No. His voice was quiet but firm. That axe is not mine. Without comment, the spirit vanished beneath the water again. When he returned, he carried a silver axe. Its polished surface shone like moonlight upon a calm lake. The craftsmanship was exquisite. Though less grand than the golden axe, it looked like something an ordinary man might realistically own. The temptation felt different this time, more subtle, more reasonable. A small voice whispered that perhaps fate was offering him a second chance. Perhaps accepting it would not truly be dishonest. Perhaps no one would be harmed. For a brief moment, the thought lingered. Then he pushed it aside. "No," he said once more. "That axe is not mine either." For the third time, the spirit descended beneath the river. The light faded. The water swirled gently. Then he emerged, carrying a plain iron axe. Its blade was dull. Its handle was worn smooth by years of labor. A small crack marked one side where it had once been repaired. The moment the woodcutter saw it, relief flooded his face. "Yes!" he cried. "That is mine!" The spirit smiled. At last, the test was complete. "You spoke the truth when a lie would have made you rich," he said. "You remained honest when temptation stood directly before you." The woodcutter lowered his head. "I only claimed what belonged to me." "And that," replied the spirit, "is why you deserve more." He returned the iron axe. Then he offered the silver one. And finally, the golden one. The woodcutter stared in astonishment. "I cannot accept these." "You can," said the spirit warmly. "They are yours." For a long moment he stood speechless. Then gratitude filled his heart. He thanked the spirit and returned home carrying all 3 axes. His life changed from that day forward. The golden and silver axes provided wealth beyond anything he had imagined. His family never knew hunger again. Yet he never forgot the lesson he had learned beside the river. Years later, people would speak of the woodcutter who became wealthy through honesty. Many admired the gold. Many envied the silver. But the true reward had never been hidden beneath the water. The spirit rewarded the woodcutter with gold and silver. Honesty had already made him rich. The tale of the honest woodcutter reminds us that character is revealed not when doing the right thing is easy, but when doing the wrong thing would be profitable. A lie may bring quick rewards. Integrity builds the kind of wealth that cannot be lost. Thank you for joining this simple tale. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves myths, legends, and forgotten tales from around the world. Until the next one.